Yeah, everything should be pretty set up. Everything should be good. I'm a bit more zoomed in than usual, but that's fine. We'll live with it. As we're just going to make sure everything's working for the stream today. As per usual. Nothing new. And there we go. Volume's working. All right. We're good. Ignore the fact that I'm scrungly, as ever. Because, wow. I look like I just got out of bed. And that might be because I did. I'm looking. I see. That's the thing. You got short hair like this, and you think, "Oh, I'm gonna be good. I don't got to worry about how my hair looks." And then, first thing that happens, you look like you crawled out of a dumpster. That's that's not good. Oh well, not fixing the hair. I don't really even know what I could do with it at this point. As we're just doing our last remaining things here to make sure everything's good before we go live, before we jump into the full video today. As I'm excited for it. It's going to be a very fun one. Just getting our last minute stuff ready here, and there we go. So, this is going to be a fun one. This is going to be an exciting one. I'm actually going to switch up a little bit. There we go. All right, start of the video. I look fine. I look normal. Other than the scar on my head making me look like a James Bond villain. Yep, we're good. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the CollingsThodeNetwork. This is Curtis, and we're going to be going over some of my top teams and some of my worst teams so far in NFL's free agency period. So, without further ado, we'll jump right into it. I mean, the intro is pretty self-explanatory, so here we are, our first team of the video. The Carolina Panthers. Yes, sir. Yes, baby. Who else could it be but the Panthers? Keep pounding. Yes. Just a little bit biased. Just a tiny bit. A little bit of bias, but to be fair, a lot of tier lists online have us in our own tier, our own bracket. We have been killing it, and there's a couple other teams that I really do enjoy, but we'll talk about the Panthers first as Jalen Phillips, in my opinion, the best player available. We got Devin Lloyd, in my opinion, the best linebacker available. We got Kenny Pickett to be a backup. We got Luke Fortner to be our new center. And we got John Mechie, one of Bryce's guys. Now, in that, we did lose some key guys. Rico Dowdle gone, so our running back room's a little bit loose, a little bit not secured. As well as losing Cade Mays, our former starting center. That's what Luke Fortner is going to hopefully come in and keep the ship going. And then we also lost out on Ashawn Robinson as we cut him to save money. Yes, we got $10 million to spend out of cutting Ashawn Robinson. So I think this is money for the Panthers right now. And if it wasn't for the next team we're going to talk about, would probably be my top team in general of free agency. But there is another team that we got to talk about here. The Los Angeles Rams. So fantastic. What a good free agency for them so far. Potentially better than my Panthers. So we'll hop right into that with Trent McDuffie acquired. Beautifully done. I mean, shoring up the number one thing that you needed shored up is probably the best thing you could do at free agency. And not only did they get their guy in McDuffie, they also got Watson. So just stealing everyone from the Chiefs at this point, that's going to be so nasty. I mean, watching the Panther games when we almost beat them twice. We beat them once. What was the number one thing that we exploited? And that was the secondaries, specifically going deep. Whether it was Coker, whether it was Tetero McMillan, this team needed something, and now they have something. They have guys to guard JSN. They have guys to guard Puka Nacua. They have guys to guard Tetero McMillan. This is a team that I really feel like is secured now with that. They also brought back Cameron Curl. I think that's his first name. They brought back Curl, regardless, their safety. They brought back Higbee, and they brought back their kicker, Mevis. And they've lost no one. Where are they? Where are the players that the Rams are supposed to be losing right now? They have had no key losses from their team. So that's why part of me does want to respect the Rams and have them the best team, but I can't. I'm so biased. I can't help it. As coming up next in our list of teams is going to be the New York Jets. Yeah, the Jets in a best list? What? What is happening? The Jets are doing good? I can't believe it personally, but here we are. Here we are. Now, they have got so many guys that I'm basically just going to be listing all the guys they brought in. All the guys they lost weren't so bad. There was a couple there where you could argue that that's a key loss, but it's the Jets. They went 3-14. No player's a key player for this team, other than maybe Breece Hall, who they franchise tagged, and they're making sure he stays around. So the players that the Jets brought in that I think are good players, or at least I think, well, I think I list all of them actually here. So we'll just list them all because true. The first player is Geno Smith, who after last season, no one thinks he's a good player, to be fair. But still, it's Geno Smith. He's the best quarterback they've had in a very long time. Let's just say that much. They brought in Minka Fitzpatrick. They brought in Onyemata. They brought in Davis, Asai, Sweat, and Igbare. And then Wright. Oh my goodness, why can't I remember his first name? Because it's one of the best contracts that was signed in free agency. This guy was projected to be making upwards of $40 to $50 million total on his contract, and he signs for a 1-year, $5.5 million contract. I think it's Nashawn, right? I could be completely wrong about that. Let me know in the comments below or in the chat. As I put a star next to it. I liked that signing so much. And then some of the other guys would be Parham, and then, of course, like I mentioned, Breece Hall. Just such amazing work from the Jets here. So good. Like, shockingly good work from the Jets. I genuinely, like, that's exactly what this team needed. It just needed as many guys, as many solid players as they can get, and I think that's exactly what they did. Coming up next was the team that lost in the Super Bowl, the New England Patriots. And yeah, for the first day and a half, maybe for the first day, I didn't really like the Patriots free agency. All they really did was bring in a fullback, which is hilarious. It's the year 2026. We'll be making fun of a team for that later on. But then the signings started to come out. They got Romeo Doubs. They got, I can't remember his first name, but they got a defender named Jones, or he's a guard. Oh my goodness, great research by me. They got Vera Tucker from the Jets, if I'm, again, not mistaken. They got Britt, a very good linebacker, and they got Bayard, a very good safety. It's safety, linebacker. I think they got a defensive lineman, and then Dobbs, and the fullback. Who cares? But that really does suit every single hole they had, at least what was being exploited, especially in the playoff run by the Seahawks at the end there. Now, they did lose out on Bradbury, Tonga, Hawkins, and Chason, but I feel like those are holes that they can plug up with young guys. I didn't want to give this spot to the Patriots, but yeah, the Patriots are officially on my good list. So, good for you guys. Good for you guys. Now, stop having good things. There's too many good things happening for the Patriots and not enough good things happening for this team, the San Francisco 49ers. That's why I'm more than happy to put them in my winners list, although it is a bit back and forth. But when you get guys like this, I mean, how could I not give you some respect? Picking up Mike Evans for what, $20 million a season? What a contract. What a player to bring in. This offense, especially when Kittle comes back and is healthy, is going to be unstoppable. Now, it does require health, and it's the 49ers, so there could be a lot of difficulties related to that. I will not lie to you. There could be a lot of challenges that come there, but I really love it. I really do love it. I mean, his hamstrings probably don't love it, but Evans, they brought in Lowe. They brought back, or I think they brought back Toth? T-O-T-H. And then they brought back Jake Tongues, which is their backup, now going to be starting tight end, which I just think it's a good move. But just bringing in Mike Evans, I got to respect the team that does that, especially at the contracts that it came in at. And yeah, good for you, 49ers. They're revamping. Now, the players that they've lost are Bourne, a wide receiver, so that's nothing. And then Elliott, who is negligible. So, no, great moves there. And then that leaves us to our last team for the winners category. And that's the Oakland Raiders. Yes, the Jets and the Raiders are both winners of free agency so far. It might be time to go buy a lottery ticket because anything is possible. If these are the teams that I'm genuinely giving respect to and I'm genuinely impressed by, because it's the Raiders. It's the Raiders and the Jets. So we'll hop into the Raiders here as they brought in a new center, Linderbaum, who I have seen a lot of people saying he's one of the best centers in the league, top 3, top 5 Some people even said he was the best player in all free agency. Well, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think he's a top 10 player in this free agent class, and he goes to Oakland. He goes to Vegas. I don't know why my brain suddenly went back to 2014 there, but yeah, no. Vegas for Linderbaum. They also got Pay. They got Dean, which I love that signing. They got Quay Walker, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken by my notes. I love that signing. They brought in Johnson and then wide receiver Naylor. Those two aren't as important, but I love those pickups. And then the players they lost, Geno Smith. Oh no, that was so good for them last year. They also lost Parham, who we mentioned earlier, I think for the Jets. Yeah, the Jets brought him in. And then Kenny Pickett. Oh no. He's our backup now. Oh no. But it's a really good free agent class, especially for who they have on the roster already and who is about to be on the roster come draft night. I love it a lot, and I love to see if the Raiders can keep it going, keep making good moves. As I'm not going to say they're a team to watch next year. They're probably still going to be bad, but they might have some sneakily good games in there. So shout out to the Raiders and shout out to our teams in the winners list as we hop on to our losers of free agency. Again, we're starting off with maybe a bit of bias with the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, sure, you could call me biased, but you could also call me realistic, as this team decided to go dumpster diving for free agents. I don't really know what they're thinking. I don't understand the moves that the Falcons are making just as a general football guy. As a Panthers fan, I love it. Thank you. Thanks for being dumb. They brought in Tua Lefty Vailoa, Tagovailoa, who doesn't have much left in the old brain capacity. I hope that he's healthy. I still like him as a quarterback, but I don't trust him as far as I could throw him. And let's just say I'm not the strongest guy in the world. So yeah, that's already a bad start there. Pairing that lefty with the lefty with no knees in Michael Penix, it's not gonna work. And then they shipped off, like, Kirk Cousins is gone too, so they don't even have a safe third option. This team is screwed next year for that. They also brought in Jahan Dotson, who is mid. He's done nothing with all of the teams he's on, all of the different quarterbacks and offensive coordinators he's had. I don't care about Dotson. That does nothing for me. He's worse than Darnell Mooney. He's going to be way worse than Drake London. He's their wide receiver 3, and he's not even good at that. Continuing on here, they brought in Austin Hooper to be backup tight end to Kyle Pitts. Sure. They brought in Williams, Ujulari, and then Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus also a wide receiver. Loki might be better than Dotson at this point, has proven more, done more in the league, just because Dotson has some potential. He's already 26. Anyways, I don't like those signings. And then I really don't like who they lost. Tyler Algier, that's fine. I think it's time for Bijan to have that backfield on his own already. But these two losses, or these three, sorry. Alfred and Onyemata, not great. And then Caden Ellis, losing your starting linebacker. Your middle linebacker, a guy who, again, took a little bit of a slower route, was a 7th-round pick, but has proven himself to be one of the more quality linebackers in the game today. I'm not going to say top 5, but I will say top 15. He's in the top half of linebackers, and they lost him, and I don't really know what they're going to do to replace him, to be honest with you. So this Falcons team, especially with James Pierce being an idiot, being one of the worst people in the league, they're screwed next year. They are, and they don't have a first-round pick this year to right the ship. So, sorry, Falcons, but you're my number one loser. Now, the rest of these losers, such as the Denver Broncos, aren't going to be as bad as the Falcons, because I genuinely could rip into the Falcons for hours right now about their signings. These teams are more so like, I'm personally disappointed. So, the Denver Broncos brought back they have no new additions. They brought in nobody. Now, they have re-signed Singleton, Stroud, Dobbins, and McMillan, which is fine. Keep your guys. But they fully lost here, Franklin Myers and P.J. Locke. Franklin Myers, I don't remember his first name. But P.J. Locke, their starting safety, and then Franklin Myers, a starting member of their defense. 2 big losses for no additional gains. We'll see what they do in the draft, but the Broncos, they have a chance to do something still. So they're on here for now, but they could very easily reach that mid-tier of teams that I don't see as losers. But we'll see. We'll see how it progresses on. I have to mention the Broncos, especially as a team that just lost in the AFC Championship game. You're not itching. You're not scratching and clawing to make this roster better. Maybe they are. Maybe they just haven't had it work out for them. But so far, Broncos have been disappointing. Speaking of teams that have been disappointing, this is more so a team that's the maker of its own demise, the maker of its own misery. The Colts here, the Indianapolis Colts, as they have brought in some new guys. We'll go into that as they brought in Key, Wooden, Clemens, and Nadi. I don't know how to say it. I mean, they're guys. They're fine. Some of those will be starters. Good for you, Indianapolis. Now, the part that I have issues with. They re-signed two guys. They re-signed Daniel Jones for, I think, $33 or $35 million per season. I think it might have been a one-year deal. I can't exactly remember. His camp wanted 50, which is equally hilarious. But now you're giving $35 million, around $35 million, to Daniel Jones. I know you guys had a great start to last year, but it's Daniel Jones. Come on. And then the next guy they re-signed was Alec Pierce. Great re-signing. Good to get your guy back, especially a guy that you know is a good wide receiver. But $29 million? Are we good? I don't know any team that was going to give him that money. Mike Evans got $29 million for Alec Pierce. Now, we'll see if this has gone to destroy the wide receiver market. We will see. But I don't like it. I don't get why you have to give him that much money just to keep him. Were teams really going to be bidding that much? I guess. I don't know. And then the Colts losses. Michael Pittman. I mean, it makes sense with Pierce, but still, that's a very quality receiver you're losing. Franklin, one of their stars on defense. Another huge loss. And then a couple other guys, Smith, Pay, and then their safety Cross. Cross is a big one, too. I would really love the Panthers to get Cross. That's what one of my chatters was saying 2 days ago for the Panthers mock draft. So some huge losses, some bad contracts on your re-signings, and then not bringing in enough big names. I can't support that free agency for the Indianapolis Colts. Speaking of which, we have another team in the same division. We got the Jaguars, and yeah, I have obvious reasons for the Jaguars being here. Devin Lloyd coming to my Panthers is a big one, but we will get into the rest of their guys here as, well, they've made one signing so far. Just one. And it was for, I think his name's Chris Rodriguez Jr. I think it's Chris. He's a running back. He's a third stringer. He's barely going to play for this team. And that's their only free agent they've brought in. I don't know. That's weird to me. They did re-sign Brown and Gardeck, which is good, but the players they lost out on is abysmal. It's brutal to look at this list. Losing out on Devin Lloyd, your star middle linebacker. Losing out on Etienne, or as he wants to be said, Achan, or Achan. He wants to be called Achan, so go look at the interview clip. Yeah, that's a tough one. Your star running back. They also lost out on Newsome, which is a big hit, and Wingard. 2 big hits on defense, 2 big hits on offense, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me in the chat, correct me in the comments, of course. If I am wrong, it's an opportunity to learn. I'll be wrong often. That's life. But still, you're losing really big pieces. You're re-signing guys, and you're not signing new guys. That's a loss. That's an L of free agency, if you ask me. I can't support that. We will wait and see if they do bring some guys in, but I see this Jaguars team as taking a step back next year, unfortunately so. As looking on to our next team here, another team that's just kind of disappointing. Tons of money available, tons of options for them, and I just don't support it. The Los Angeles Chargers, the formerly San Diego Chargers, if I'm going to be in 2012 brain again, the Chargers. The Chargers, who had around $80 million to spend, if I'm not mistaken, and have done, well, not $80 million worth of value with it. As looking at the list here, they brought in Biadaz, I don't know, a new center. They brought in a new center, thank goodness. They brought in as well Ingold, a fullback in the year 2026. feel like there's more important things on the totem pole than your fullback, but good for you guys, I guess. Woo! Love that. They also brought in Strange, who's going to be a guard for them. They brought in Kolar, who's a tight end, and then they brought in Keaton Mitchell, who's a running back. These guys are not impact players. Kolar is not better than Will Dissly. Mitchell is not better than Vidal or anyone else in that running back room, Marion Hampton. But I do like Strange, and I do like the new center they brought in that I can't pronounce. Ingold is such a joke to be bringing in for free agency. Kolar and Mitchell are also just like, sure, consolation prize, I guess. They re-signed Khalil Mack. Good signing, I guess. He's old, but he's your guy. They re-signed Tart, and they also re-signed Vidal. Now, who they lost for the amount of money that they were working with. This is inexcusable. Owe, their star edge rusher, gone. Johnson, gone. St. Just, gone. And then Ogbonna, gone. Now, those last couple ones, probably not as important, but losing out on Owe, however you pronounce it, is inexcusable for a team that needs as much help as it can get. When you have Ifman as your starting quarterback, you're gonna need a bit of a blessing when the playoffs come around, and this defense isn't helping you out very much. So that's gonna be my teams that I'm penciled in right now, but I have 3 more honorable mentions for potentially having the worst free agency. So we're gonna jump right into those right now before you click off to a new video right here from Lumen Field. We got the Seahawks, the Super Bowl winners, and this is a very similar reason to the Broncos why I have them here. So we won't go too harsh on them, but we can go pretty harsh on them as they have signed no one. They've brought in 0 new players, and they've lost out on a lot of guys. They've lost out on some key defensive guys, and then Kenneth Walker going to the Chiefs. That's going to be a tough pill to swallow. I'm a Charbonnet fan. I like him, but I don't know if he's going to be a lead back in this backfield. They might need to go draft a guy to pair with Charbonnet, just like they had with Walker last year. But regardless, this is a team that's taking a ton of hits and doesn't really have the ammo to reload. And that's too bad. It's too bad for a team that won the Super Bowl and most people liked. I liked them. I liked that Seahawks run quite a bit. Now, a team that won a Super Bowl that most people didn't like, the Eagles. Now, this one's a little bit more obvious. A lot of people probably could have had a reason or thinking I could have put these guys definitely in the for sure worst, maybe even over the Chargers, but still. The Eagles are here, very similar to the Broncos in my mind, where they can do something still. Howie is a plenty good general manager, but they have a lot of roadblocks in the way. They have no big signings. They've gotten a couple small guys here and there, but they've lost a lot of their key guys, like Jalen Phillips to the Panthers. And potentially soon, A.J. Brown is going to be out the door. We'll see what they can do with that. They've also lost some big defensive guys too, which, if I'm not mistaken, Reed Blankenship has, or not Blankenship. Oh my goodness. Correct me in the comments below. But they've lost one of their key safeties or cornerbacks, and I cannot remember now. And that's gonna kill me. Flame me in the chat, flame me in the comments for my bad memory, because I deserve it. These are bad names to be forgetting. And then the last team of the video officially here, one that I saw online for a couple loser lists, but I don't agree. But we'll talk about them anyways here. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's a loaded team. There's a lot of different ways you can look at this, and we'll look at it. So the Buccaneers lost some key players like Mike Evans, their franchise best wide receiver. That hurts. I won't lie to you, that hurts. And they also lost Dean, a very good guy on their defensive side. That hurts too. But I love their signing so far. Bringing in Kenneth Gainwell and getting rid of Rachaad White is a lateral move, but he's a fantastic backup. I really like Kenneth Gainwell behind a guy like Bucky Irving. I think that's going to work great. And then you look at who they got on defense, Alex Anzalone, who is a very, very capable player. Scares me that we're going to have to face him twice a year now as the Panthers. Yeah, it's not good, but it's not necessarily bad, and I'm seeing a lot of people put them on their down list. They're down and out list. I mean, losing out on, if I'm not mistaken, Demario Davis as well. Older guy, 35 years old. They were bound to replace him anyways. A lot of the moves that the Buccaneers have made, I feel like they have the roster strength, the depth, to afford it, and then they brought back guys in key positions they needed. I can't agree with the Bucks being on the worst list, but I can't quite put them on the I can't quite put them on the good list, but I can't fully put them on the bad list. Eagles got Woolen. Thank you. That's where my memory was forgetting. That was a good pickup. One of the few guys that they brought in where I'm like, okay, you're doing some work there. Thank you so much for being in the chat here, Rawalk. Always respect people being in the chat. And that's going to be it for my stream today. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Make sure you click like. Make sure you click that subscribe button. Click the bell so you get notified every single time that I am live or when I post a video. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Special thank you to my chatter today, Rawalk. Always nice to see someone here enjoying the content. So, hey, till next time, that's all for me. Peace.